Thunder! 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 ThunderCats!
Welcome back to the ThunderCats Recap and Review, brought to you by the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, joined by everyone's favorite brother, David. And we're doing our first two-parter episode, David. This is really exciting. This is the Feliner Parts 1 and 2, which was episode 29. And 30 of the original ThunderCats series, airing October 31st, Happy Halloween of 1985, and November 1st of 1985. So you had to wait a whole day to see what happened after the first episode aired. Thank you, as always, to the ThunderCats Wikipedia for the synopsis and trivia we will be using. David will return to Vultureman and the reveal of a new mutant, Rataro. What do you think about these episodes so far?
So last month, we saw an episode where Vultureman was kind of a standout with Mumm-Ra, and now you see that again, Vultureman seems to align himself with the more powerful, what he believes to be the winning side. It's, you know what I mean? So you see that, and then you also see Rataro, which opens up so many questions for me, because Rataro has the Rat Star, which is a spaceship. Do the mutants have contact with Plundar, and they choose to not? Because honestly, so here's the thing. Are the mutants sticking to sort of their unofficial Mumm-Ra, basically when he sunk their ship said you will not have contact with Plundar, or are they happy that they are on Third Earth because they're the higher in the food chain as far as like the baddies? Right. Because if you got all these other, I'm sure there are much higher military or whatever you want to say from Plundar that would, essentially,
Rataro,
essentially eclipse their little setup here. So are they just happy with the way they're set up? Because they referred to Third Earth as like disgusting primitive and ridiculous, which, so that really brings up, are the mutants just not communicating with Planet Plundar, or did Vultureman somehow reach out to Rataro through some sort of communication he created? I don't know.
I was going to ask you the same thing, David, because we start off and there's two things that maybe possibly signify a time jump to me. The fact that Rataro is there already with Vultureman. They're flying, like David said, in the Rat Star. No explanation given. And also, the ThunderCats are building a spaceship, like the Feliner. So I wonder if there was a time jump, because the size of the Feliner, how would Panthro be able to build this? Like, it had to have taken a long time. So I don't know what happened in between our last episode and now, because unless you said Vultureman communicated with Rataro somehow and he is working against the mutants, because the mutants themselves don't seem too happy in a way after Rataro comes back, and we'll get into it. David has a great note about that. So I'm very confused myself. But Rataro, the most powerful of the mutants' warlords, comes to Third Earth and takes control of the mutants. Rataro brings Snarf's nephew, with him after capturing him on the planet of the Snarfs.
The Snarfers escaped! I thought he was part of your plan, Rataro! There's nothing funny about it!
Oh, you fool! I let him escape. He will bring the ThunderCats to me, and when they're here, the Rat Star will do the rest.
How will he bring them here?
I can bring that Snarfer back anytime I like.
Okay, David, so this is actually another big thing that we found out, that during the destruction of Thundera, 43 Snarfs left and somehow formed their own planet, which I don't know how the Snarfs found their... ThunderCats went off course, they got to Third Earth, and the Snarfs found a whole planet that they took over.
So they managed to escape the demise of Thundera, and Snarfer said they came upon a planet that was uninhabited, but he also said that everything everything grows amazing there, though it's a very fertile planet. So we don't know how big the planet is. We don't know.
Maybe maybe it was a small planet.
Maybe it's a small planet. Maybe it's believe it or not, maybe it might even be a moon that's orbiting around a larger planet. You really don't know. You know, like we say, like Titan and whatever, Europa, or like they have water on them. You know, things like that. But so we're jumping around a little bit, but we're basically
One has a
that
Snarf, possibly a Snarf planet.
How'd you get here? You're a Snarf. How can that be? One question at a time, Uncle Osbert. Snarf. Shh! Don't say that. I hate that name. No one calls me Osbert. Uncle Osbert? I'm Snarfer. Snarfer? My nephew Snarfer? That's impossible. It's true. But you were just a baby. Oh, Snarf, Snarf. I must be getting old. That was years ago. Snarfer. Snarf, 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 Snarf. But never call me Osbert, okay? I'm Snarf, just Snarf. Okay, Uncle Snarf. But how'd you get here? And why are you wearing those bracelets? It's a long story, Uncle Snarf. Well, we've got lots of time to hear it. Wait till the ThunderCats see you.
So Rataro captures Snarfer. You see the interaction between Slide Monkey and Jackalman, and how Rataro basically puts them down, treats them like
This
garbage.
is a cycle of abuse, David. This didn't start with
it really is. And then you see the plan that Rataro's gonna send, like release Snarfer, and you see Slide going after Rataro, like you let him go, and you see Vultureman and Rataro laughing, basically.
Laughing their asses off.
So you find out in this episode as well that Rataro is not having anything from these. He's basically putting them down. He's telling them, when I tell you to jump, I better see air. That's what he said.
My God, yeah.
Stand to attention when you see me, underling. I'm going to say this once only. I am in command. You hear me? And when I say jump, I want to see air beneath your feet. You got that?
We got it.
I didn't hear that, mutants! You got that?
We got it.
You got it! What? We got it, sir. This better work, Vultureman, or I'll hurt your feathers.
When Slide says he's gonna go after Vultureman goes behind him, and Rataro even kind of sets them in line again. So I guess Rataro sees what Vultureman can bring to the table with his technology, at least.
Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to point out is two things. One, Rataro definitely has that Shredder sort of like Ninja Turtle sort of like knockoff, what people would think that like Asian samurai people would look like kind of thing. It's and he even has like that little what do they call it, a Fu Manchu sort of thing. So it's very like you're giving me like Hachiman sort of.
Yes, I saw the same thing. That his garb is very Asian inspired as well.
But it's it is like almost like a warlord. I mean, I
know what you mean. There's like that chest. There's a name. I feel like there's a name for that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
We don't know where. Not. It's like it's slightly Attila the Hun-esque sort of vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know without the fur, I guess. But so anyway, just something I thought of. And then he basically spills the beans that Slide was a cook.
Wow.
He says you because Sly stands up to him or tries to stand up, and he basically is like, you were better as a cook.
If you'd called me in before, the ThunderCats would be finished by now, Vultureman. You know Slithe, Rataro. He never listens to me. Slithe, When he was in my command, he was in charge of the field kitchens. This time, at least, we've agreed on a plan.
It will never work.
Oh, yes, it will, you wretched Snarfer. It will work, because you will be the bait that lures the ThunderCats to their doom.
Now, I have an important question for you, Ryan. Is that why Slythe is so critical of the food?
Because he knows what he could be doing. He knows what he could bring, the spices he would have used.
This is not fresh cumin. This is slime from the pit of despair. This is not sea salt, pink Himalayan sea salt. This is just salt that Snow Meow peed on.
This is from Hook Mountain, yes. So what is the cycle that they use the reptilian cooks? Still, maybe Slythe actually thinks reptilians are the best cooks out of all the mutants? There's something with that. There's something with that the reptiles are cooks. Because we've seen that in an earlier episode.
You also find out that Snarf's real name is Osbert. He calls him Uncle Osbert.
Hates. And what do you think of Snarfer? I think he's adorable. I know a lot of fans could barely take Snarf. Unfortunately, again, it's not us. We enjoy Snarf, but Snarfer is seen even more of a. Basically, it is Snarf's voice actor as well, and he's putting on like a lighter, younger voice. But I find him adorable, Snarfer, because he's this really loving nephew.
I think this is the whole people are doing the whole Scrappy Doo, Scooby Doo hatred thing.
Yeah, they don't
on poor Snarfer. It's so funny though because Snarf's name is Snarf. He goes Snarf, Snarf, Snarf.
Yeah. I don't get it.
So, and then can we just? I like Snarfer. I think he's adorable. I would love him because he would just be so loving and just he's learning. He's a little Snarf. He's young.
Yes.
And you know what's really nice is you do see like their reunion and they hug, and then it kind of goes into where Snarf is fantasizing about dancing with a female Snarf out of nowhere, like because he's talking about again we're jumping all over the place, but we dance.
Says randomly, yes, we dance on the planet. Or we have dances just out of nowhere on the new planet of Snarf. And you're like, David's right. And Snarf fantasizes about dancing to me with this female Snarf. And I didn't like the way the female Snarfs look. I didn't trust them. They look too human.
They look like Mumm-Ra trying to be a
Snarf. Oh my god, David, that is 100%. It is Mumm-Ra pretending to be a female Snarf. That is what it looked like. Yes. But anyway, that's what Snarf fantasizes about. Who knew?
And the other thing you find out is a Snarf. He asks if there's another Snarf that's alive that he owes the guy owes him 50
$100 or something.
Thunder bucks.
I think he says 50. I wrote it down here. Thunder dollars. Thunderian dollars. But David, I know he wants it, but what currency, unless the Snarfs are still using this money on this new planet, this is Thunderian currency. What is this going to do for him? Besides the fact he just wants money.
Hey, Snarfy, baby, you better have my money. Don't you worry. I said, hey. Well, listen, he has that Jaga commemorative coin.
Yeah. And this, by the way, is the Snarf that he's talking about is called Snarf Egbert, and we do see him in future episodes as well. But Snark Egbert has Snarf's money.
I'll be honest with you. If I thought that all of my friends and family and my race, I guess you want to say, like the human race was wiped out, and then to find out that they're not, would be a big thing for me. So I don't know if I would fantasize about dancing. I think I would be in tears, knowing that people that I love are still alive, but knowing how much time I lost with them. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a combination. It's a kind of a bittersweet thing.
If Tigra does mention, and this is after we see that Rataro does have these gauntlets on Snarfer that are magnified, and he does get taken back because it is part of the plan. They want the ThunderCats to follow to Castle Plundar, but Snarf said it's the worst day of his life. And Tigra says, but something good came out of it because you learned that people survived the explosion and that you have other Snarfs out there. So you're right. Tigra did tell him to look on the bright side. Snarf survived. The race survived the explosion. That's a wonderful thing. The whole plan is they want the Thundercats to come to Castle Plundar. They have Snarfer as holding him captive. So again, we see the sight beyond sight is not working because Rataro has this shield that's blocking the cameras at Cat's Lair. We see Wily Kit and Wily Cat going crazy because they're noticing something following the Thunder Tank on the way to the Castle Plundar. Then their screens go off, and then Sight Beyond Sight got a glitchy sound effect to it. It was going grrr. So Rataro's mutant technology is really something.
But that's not, I mean, it's not the first time. The Sword of Omens was blocked by, wasn't it Safari Joe's thing too? Or somebody's?
Yes, which is so crazy that...
But here's the thing, the difference in the technology, if you really want to get to the nitty gritty, is that the Sword of Omens in the Safari Joe one saw that there was something there. He couldn't penetrate it. There was like a force shield.
Right.
There was some sort of energy field that he could still see with the sword, but didn't know was inside it. Where
what
this
was behind it.
just
right.
wonked it out completely.
Even the sound got distorted, like batteries dying.
It reminded me of when, you know, in our opening thing, when you make it look like it's like an old VHS tape.
Exactly. That's exactly. It was glitchy and could not see behind it. We also should mention that Rataro has 2 daggers with eyes on it that are evidently...
Rat's eyes, the rat's eyes.
Yes, the rat eye that is equivalent to the Eye of Thundera? Do you believe that? They seem to be very powerful. We even see him being projectile like the Rocket Man at one point with them. They boost him off the ground, but are they really equivalent to the Eye of Thundera?
Let's kind of rewind a little bit. So they're going to save Snarfer. They realize that there's the Rat Star. They finally get to realize the Rat Star is behind them after Wily Kit and Wily Cat are yelling at them to basically look up, look up.
You didn't sense that, Chitara?
They're shooting at them. They're doing stuff. They're actually at some point do some sort of thing where they shoot these poles around the Thunder Tank where it like disables the Thunder Tank. It's like what they have like in the cars like nowadays where they can turn off your engine sort of a thing. So Chitara does shoot something down from the Rat Star. And Tiger's like, good
Tiger's
shooting.
Like, good, yeah. And she has her arms crossed like, yes, I know.
Well,
just call me when I'm needed again. She's so good. I can't get I mean, really, she's so fantastic.
Very powerful, really powerful female character. Somebody that could definitely be looked up to.
This is nearing the end of part 1. Rataro launches 2 prolonged attacks on the Thundercats. He first blasts the tank with his Voltron cannon, which kind of makes like it looks like a whirlwind, and then he transforms ordinary bunches of rocks into a huge rock giant, which makes sense on Third Earth. I'm surprised this isn't natural to the to the terrain, actually. As the Thundercats contend with the stony behemoth, Rataro severely damages the Thunder Tank with one of his Void Chargers. Eventually, it takes a powerful energy blast from the Sword of Omens to damage the Rat Star and sends it plummeting to the ground. The cats then rescue Snarfer from Castle Plundar. So, inside the cat's lair, work on the Thundercats' latest vehicle, the Feliner, is nearing completion, but Panther reveals that the Feliner, which will be the Thundercats' first ship on Third Earth anyway, with interstellar travel capabilities, is only lacking a hyperspace mega condenser, which is part of one of those Thundercats bloopers. Lion-O trying to say, let's get the mega condenser.
Let's find the mega condenser. I'm saying that too fast. Let's find the mega condenser. Still going too fast.
What's wrong, Lion-O?
Oh, fuck, here it is again.
What's here again?
That thing, that mega thing.
Want me to say it?
Yes!
The gloom on Panther's head is lifted upon hearing Snarf's idea of taking the part from the Rat Star.
There must be something you can do to get this thing to fly, Panthro.
I'm working on it, Osbert. I'm working on it.
Why are you so keen, Snarf? You said nothing would get you up in the Feliner.
I know, Lion-O, but Snarf, I'd really like to see the planet of Snarfs.
You just want to collect your $50 Thunder, Uncle Osbert.
Very funny, Panthro, but we have to get Snarfer home somehow.
Like I said, we need a hyperspace mega condenser.
Without that, we're not going to have this Feliner operational for a long time.
I've got it!
What?
Oh, no. First, you have to promise never to call me Osbert again.
Okay, Snarf. But it better be good.
How about trying to get the parts you need from the wreck of the Red Star?
Snarf, you may turn out to be a genius.
Hey, Panthro, put me down! Yeah.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to that wreck before the mutants repair it.
So this is the end of part 1, David. Trivia for end of part 1. We find out that Snarf's real name is Osbert, a moniker he greatly despises. Feliner is the only episode in the entire ThunderCats series to be split into 2 parts. The other episodes that are multiple storylines consist of 5 parts. Ooh, they going from 2 to 5. This episode introduces us to Snarf's younger nephew, Snarfer. It also shows a glimpse of the planet of Snarfs, as well as Snarf Egbert, who owes Snarf money, and an unnamed Snarf female. Snarf Oswald is only mentioned as well. This episode also introduces the new mutant Rataro. We learn from his first episode that the mutant leader Slythe was in fact a cook in the mutant field kitchens under Rataro's command on Plundar. The giant rock that Rataro creates using the molecular mutator is identical to the design of the rock giant that is featured in The Rock Giant, the only difference being the color of the 2 giants. And then the communication disruption that the vehicle on the ThunderCats screen is the same animation that was utilized in the earlier episode Spitting Image.
Feel the magic, hear the roar. The ThunderCats are here. ThunderCats! Ho! A team of brave and bold superheroes. Meet Chitara the Quick, as clever as she is athletic. Chitara is unafraid of a challenge.
Maybe that'll teach you to monkey with the ThunderCats.
Chitara the Quick, one of the mighty ThunderCats. Don't miss the action. Ho! ThunderCats.
Weekdays at 5 on WRLH TV 35.
Introducing the evil mutant warriors, Rataro, Vultureman, Groom the Destroyer, battle against Lion-O and the new ThunderCat allies, Hachiman, Snowman, Tusker Warrior. The battle is on for the Sword of Omen. Figures and vehicles each sold separately from LJN.
ThunderCats Live! ThunderCats Live at Madison Square Garden. All your favorite TV superstars in person. An extravagant adventure with the high-flying Silverhawks, See, Gumby, and Pokey. Music and excitement with the dancing street frogs. Your family will love the amazing ThunderCats, the fun-loving Karate Cat, the high-flying space-age Silverhawks. Don't miss ThunderCats Live, now through October 11th, only at Madison Square Garden. Tickets now at the Garden Box Office, Ticketron, and Teletron.
When we last saw Lion-O, Lord of the ThunderCats, he fought off the Rat Star, the battle cruiser of the mighty mutant warlord, Rataro. When he had defeated Rataro and the Rat Star, Lion-O freed Snarf's long-lost nephew, Snarfer, kidnapped from his home on the planet of Snarfs and brought to Third Earth by evil Rataro.
Osbert!
Will the ThunderCats be able to defeat Rataro and return Snarfer to his home? Or will Rataro rally the mutants and drive the ThunderCats from Third Earth forever?
Okay, so now we open with part 2 of the Feliner. We get the recap. We find out that there is Snarf's little nephew and that they need the part from Rataro. And you did mention, and I noticed as well, we did get another bungler reference because Rataro calls Slive a bungler? Or
No, the whole.
Monkey?
I think the whole group.
A sitting target, and you bungled it. Call yourself a gunner. You do better back as a cook.
So Mumm-Ra's catchphrase is catching on, or the writers really thought bungler was the best word for... They ain't cursing here on Third Earth. We bungling everybody up in here.
You mother bungler.
I love that Panthro loves teasing Snarf over his name, because we see it a few times, especially near the end of last episode and the beginning of this episode when they recap. He gets a real kick out of it, and he says, "You sure you don't want to get to the planet of the Snarfs to get your money back, Snarf? Not just to drop your nephew off on the Feliner." So I do like that. So we pick up, and the mutants run out of the crashed ship, David, and they hide from Rataro. Vultureman, though, ends up saving them. Did you notice that?
They Slide stands up to Rataro, and then...
Sure, I mean, yeah, that's right.
They got out of the ship because they didn't want to explode in it, and they didn't want the ThunderCats to come after them.
Because they ran like they were on fire.
So then you have it where Slive and the mutants basically tell Rataro, "Oh, you're so great. Well, look what happened. Your rat star was so amazing. See what happened to you." So then he uses his sword, which he crosses to make like these X's. And they basically it engulfs them in an energy field that starts crushing them. And he's like, "You're killing me." And then Vultureman says, "I need some manpower to help me take care of this ship, so you need to not kill them. Otherwise, they would have been dead."
So was that Vultureman actually trying to save them? Because Slide just told him he was in deep crap, or was it just he was just using them because he knows? I want to say it's part of their, maybe he likes Shackleman and Monkey in a little.
Interspecies, you mean?
Maybe he feels like they're friends to him and Slive was just part of the group, but Slive is what allowed.
Slive, I find out that he's just bitter. Now I know why. Where he gets his ferocity from, or he's just a bitter Betty. He just suffers from BBS. Now BBS could be for a man or woman. So my BBS, when I call it, is bitter bitch syndrome or bitter bastard syndrome. So he suffers from BBS.
Because he could have been Julia Child, but now he's controlling an army of mutants instead.
Julia Child presents the Chicken Sisters. A lot of people are just so scared of any recipe they see that says sugar syrup or caramel. And they no, I won't do anything like that. For instance, you got to have developed what the French call je m'en foutisme, or I don't care what happens. The sky can fall and omelets can go all over the stove. I'm going to learn. I shall overcome.
And whatever. So anywho.
So, the mutants crawl out of the crashed spaceship, the Rat Star. Slide is quick to criticize Rataro, holding him solely responsible for the defeat that they suffered at the hands of the ThunderCats. This does not sit well with Rataro. And a display of the rat's eyes, daggers. Again, did it have to be rat's eyes? I like the design on the Rataro swords because they are eyes, but they rely too much on cat's eyes. I think they try to keep everything almost unison on this, but the Eye of Thundera should be...
This is why my husband and I do not see eye to eye on design, because I am of the generation or that sort of thing where I like everything to be cohesive.
Unison. Okay, yeah.
Monochromatic. I like that kind of stuff where he likes to mix and match. I'm like, you can't put that piece of furniture because it's too modern compared to that in the same room because it doesn't look right. And he's like, "Oh no, and just do this and it'll be fun." So, yeah.
I'm picturing Beetlejuice's, the Dietz's furniture.
No, nothing like that. I like more of a matchy. I like things monochromatic. I like even numbers, 2 candlesticks spread out perfectly, not 2 over here, 1 there. I am less eclectic in that sense.
So you like a shared universe where eyes are powerful, basically.
No, I like that it's the cat's eye, the cat's lair, the cat's underoos, the cat's glass.
Well, we know that's good for merchandising, like we said.
Yes.
Panther, one day, Panther will make some money.
I like the fact that I just like it. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent.
The Rat's Eyes dagger's power is significant enough to change Slide's mind. Following Rataro's orders, the mutants quickly piece together a mutant tank. Now again,
the mutank.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. The mutank. The mutank. And they haul the Ratstar's wreck all the way to Castle Plundar, and their little hand clamps were literally hands. I love that. Attached to the.
I want those.
To the Ratstar.
I want those for my kids. They start running away. Clip, clip.
It's like it is almost like the Lion-O claw shield. It was a little tiny tank. It really, though, must have been powerful to haul that Ratstar ship that is humongous.
Well, he also made the Monkey and Jacqueline and Slide pull as well. Like, we're not off the hook.
Oh my god. You know what, though? I like when the mutants can get a bit of their britches taken down a peg, because we saw they enslaved the Brute Men and left them in that room.
No, that's totally true. But I just feel like, out of all of them, I feel like Jacqueline is the least
evil,
aggressive. And I think Slide is just pure unadulterated bitterness and anger, because now we know that he was an unsatisfied cook.
He was an unsatisfied cook. Oh,
I feel Monkey is
a thinker, evidently a philosopher.
Monkey is part brute and part stupid, but also part he has his moment.
Because he calls Slide
a sexist.
Sexist, yeah.
So
sexist pig.
And then you have
Vultureman, who is a intellectual, but he's a coward. I don't know. I think he is more of a coward, though. Yes, I think out of all, they all are cowards, but I think he is more of the coward. Maybe because he thinks a little more. Maybe he's already thinking. This is so off the cuff, but ThunderCats Roar, the recent canceled reboot, as I always like to bring up. I think Jacqueline is like that, because even in this show, David, they showed that there was a battle. It was so stupid. And the ThunderCats and the mutants all go home. And Jacqueline got into the wrong car, and he got into the Thunder Tank, and he just pretended to be a dog for them who didn't speak. And he waited for weeks. He was like, oh, look at the cute dog, and he's like, in his head, he's like, I can't believe I got into the wrong car. So he kind of just was going along with it, but the mutants missed him too, which was nice. Again, it doesn't have continuity in this, but it kind of shows that Jacqueline was willing just to be a dog for the ThunderCats for a little while in this cartoon. But back to the real deal, the mother show, the real ThunderCats. As the ThunderCats drive out to retrieve the hyperspace mega condenser from the Ratstar, Snarf confides in Snarfer that he's thinking about joining Snarfer when he leaves for the planet of the Snarfs.
Tell me more about the planet of Snarfs, our home.
Our home? No, Uncle Snarf. You got a home right here in Cat's Lair. And as for the planet of Snarfs, let's face it, I'm never gonna see it again.
We'll get you home, Snarfer. And maybe I'll come with you.
Oh, you will, Uncle Snarf. You mean you'd leave the ThunderCats?
Lion-O's grown up now. He doesn't need a nursemaid like me. Sometimes I feel as if I'm just in the way.
Oh, you'll love it on our planet, Uncle Snarf.
Besides, I want to collect that 50 Thunder dollars Snarf Oswald still owes me.
He says that he's unneeded, David, but if anything's proven leading up to this is he's not. And Lion-O does need him.
I agree.
He does say that Lion-O is all grown up now, but I don't think that's too true. What the mutants and the ThunderCats don't know is that Mumm-Ra is quietly keeping abreast of all the proceedings from within his pyramid, and plans to use the mega condenser as bait for the cats.
So, the ThunderCats need a mega condenser for their spaceship. And those mutants don't even know they've got the part the ThunderCats need.
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Mumm-Ra, the ever-living! If I can get hold of this mega condenser, the ThunderCats will have to come to me! And when they do, I will finish them for once and for all!
So yes, you thought we were gonna be Mumm-Ra free? Oh no. He heard Rataro came into town.
He's at his viewing pool.
And did he say, was this approved? Was Rataro's plan approved by me? No.
Were those plans approved by the HOA, the Black Pyramid HOA?
Nope. So we see that he transforms into Mumm-Ra the Ever-Living just so he could beat the ThunderCats and the Mutants to get the Mega Condenser. So I love, again, Mumm-Ra's viewing them all the time that he picked up on this key word. Oh, they need a Mega Condenser. Whatever that is. I know exactly where it is. I'm going to go get it. And I'm going to stop them.
Do you feel, now that we're pretty deep into the ThunderCats now,
it only took almost 2 years.
Mumm-Ra is... Oh my god, have we been doing it for that long?
But almost. Yeah, I know. Well, we swear this will end. We swear we'll get through this series.
We really, honestly, if we were smart, we would definitely drag this out until the new ThunderCats movie comes out.
The movie, yeah. God, we probably got another 2 years for that. So yeah.
So people who are listening, that's how it is, okay? We are finally going to be in the right place at the right time.
You're right.
Maybe we can wrap it up right as it's coming out.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Our luck will go through. We'll probably do double, triple episodes to get through it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, and by the way, because of production issues, we're putting it off for another 5 years."
Yeah, oh my god. Well then, everyone's gonna have every ThunderCats episode to hold themselves tight with.
That's terrible. We need to stop. People are gonna be like, this is about ThunderCats, not about you people. Oh.
Is it not?
It's your name. So Mumm-Ra gets pissed because he wasn't part of the plan.
Basically, you're right.
So, but what I was going to say is, don't you feel that Mumm-Ra is not as powerful after looking that you thought he was? I'm starting to feel like that. He's still ominous and scary and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I'm not seeing right now, as of now. And again, for those who've never watched ThunderCats,
he's talking. Like, he's more talk than anything, you're saying.
But is it because of his personality? Because or is it because he really needs a lot of time to recharge in the pyramid? Like, does time go by, a long period of time go by in ThunderCats world that you don't see Mumm-Ra because he's needing to rest for long periods of time in the sarcophagus?
That is what I really, in my head, I think, David, and I think, again, there was definitely a time stretch for them to be able to build this spaceship, and then maybe this is when he woke up. I hate to say it, but maybe he woke up during the second episode and he realized the plan that was happening. So yeah, maybe
because he does in the beginning, he does say, "You're the one who interrupted my rest."
Yeah, my slumber.
You know, I was sleeping on the sleep number bed.
I had the perfect number.
Originally on a commercial for Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman, selling it.
Oh, you don't know that woman?
I still have her leg here.
Yeah, it's next to Toot and Tiny's hairspray.
I love the Bionic Woman. I love the my God, I'm totally
not the remake. You didn't, did you?
I love the Bionic Woman, and I love the episode with the fembots. We have to do that. The two-parter.
Oh, maybe we could do that then. We could do a two-parter on the main channel, on the main whatever episode. That's a good TV thing.
Fembots and like the return of the fembots or something.
I'm gonna write that down. Return of the return of the driller. When the Thundercats arrive at the Mutants' fortress, they immediately come under attack from the Mutants driving the Mu-Tank. While the Thunder Tank and the Mu-Tank lock their metallic horns, Lion-O sneaks into the Ratstar wreck, but is shocked to see that Mumm-Ra has the Mega Condenser.
The Mega Condenser should be right here. It's gone. Someone must have got here first.
Is this what you want?
Give me that condenser, Mumm-Ra. It's no use to you.
You're wrong, whelp. I can use anything that will foil the Thundercats.
After a brief scuffle, Lion-O manages to get Mumm-Ra to drop the piece of equipment and flee. This is my favorite. He manages to attach himself to Mumm-Ra, who don't even know that he's pulling Lion-O while he's flying back to his pyramid for a while, until Lion-O shimmies up the line and climbs onto Mumm-Ra's back. No weight? I guess Mumm-Ra really is strong enough that he ain't feeling Lion-O's weight. But then he says to... I love this, actually. Today is yours, but tomorrow will always be Mumm-Ra the Ever-Livings.
Curse you, Thundercat, and that sword of yours. Today is yours, but tomorrow shall always belong to Mumm-Ra the Ever-Living. Yeah!
The condenser. It fell around here somewhere.
He gave up really easy this episode, David.
Yeah, I kind of feel like his heart really wasn't in it.
No, right?
But you know what he said? Okay, but there's another part where he says, cue charmed moment with the Nexus, where the sisters are more powerful in the house. He says they'd have to come to his pyramid. They have to come to him. Do you feel like he's more powerful in his pyramid?
Yes, because I think...
Is the Nexus under the pyramid?
I think you're right. I think he does have his full advantage there. He could probably call upon more power while he's there, closer to the signal of the AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile signal, the hotspot. And then Rataro steps in, but he is defeated.
He has 5G in the pyramid. He has 5G in the pyramid.
He's finally gone 5G in the pyramid. He got a free phone from Verizon. Rataro is defeated by Lion-O. The victorious Thundercats return to the cat's lair with their hard-earned prize, the Mega Condenser. As Panther, Cheetara, Wily Kit, and Wily Cat prepare to return Snarfer to the planet of the Snarf, Snarf reveals that he, too, will join Snarfer, shocking them all who are present.
What's the matter, Snarf?
I might as well tell you all.
Tell us what, Snarf?
I'm not coming back.
You're not coming back?
I'm going to stay with Snarfer on the planet of Snarfs.
You mean you're going to visit, to see your friends?
No, Panthro. I'm going to stay there forever.
You're going to leave us?
Yes.
Snarf, you can't mean it.
I do, Lion-O. I'm an old Snarf now. You don't need me anymore. Best to be with my family. Snarf, Snarf.
But we do need you, Snarf.
I've made up my mind.
If we're going, we have to go now. Otherwise, we'll miss our orbital targets.
Goodbye, Lion-O.
Bye, Snarf. I'll miss you.
You're absolutely right! What in thunder would you do without me?
However, Snarf changes his mind as soon as the Feliner lifts off and decides to stay on Third Earth after all. Lion-O started to cry as he pulled away. I really loved that.
Well, because he loves him. He loves him, and it was so abrupt. But
it
here's
was
the thing.
very abrupt.
I want to go back for a minute. I want to go back to the showdown between the Rat Eyes and the Eye of Thundera.
Yes.
Which we completely cut out.
Yes, it's shown. You see, it's all about Mumm-Ra. It's all about Mumm-Ra, and it went to us, I think.
So
yeah,
there's a showdown between Rataro
there.
using the Rat Star, and the Rat Eyes, and he traps Lion-O in the same crushing energy that he was using on the mutants, and the Sword of Omens falls, and Lion-O doesn't do his normal ceremonial Sword of Omens, please come to my hand. He was like sword hand.
Yes. He orbed it, yeah.
And then what I can only be described as a hoedown, because he said ho, 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 like so many hoes to call upon more power from the Sword of Omens. He did it like 3 or 4 times, right? Am I missing that?
He did have a hoedown. He did have a hoedown.
And you also get a part where you see him, the animation is different in this part.
Yes, I did notice that too. It was even the up closes of Lion-O. They were very Ren and Stimpy, I would say, highly detailed.
Yeah,
close-ups of their face. Although it wasn't horrific like it would be on a Ren and Stimpy.
Well, Mumm-Ra's. Remember that one with Mumm-Ra? Oh, that was gross.
He was very batchy. So, yeah. David, I think you might have a biggest bungler for today's episode. Well, today's episodes of the biggest bungler.
You bungler! Once again, you have failed.
You bungled it!
Delightful.
Who's bungling? I want to know who you think is the biggest bungler.
Honestly, I know Mumm-Ra wouldn't give himself a bungler, but I want to say Mumm-Ra literally just throwing it down and going, "You've got me this time, but tomorrow will be mine." Sorry, Mumm-Ra. Sorry, I love you, but I think that was the biggest bungler. We didn't even need that moment, honestly. That whole section.
We have to establish bungler rules at some point.
Well, radical ones, ThunderCats fan, if you want to give us perimeters too.
Because it is a bungler up kind of like I think I did in last month's episode. Is bungler the plan? Is bungler just a person? Can there be multiple bunglers?
I think you could
be the whole episode. Can the whole episode be a bungle?
Yes. A whole episode could be a bungle, I think. A person could be a bungle, and a plan can be bungled.
So we need to So biggest bungler for me, Mumm-Ra definitely, but I don't think he was a bungler. I think his heart wasn't in it. I just think he didn't care, or maybe he was running
he just wanted to be in. I think, like you said, be in the action for a moment and just be like, "Well, I'm here. Hello."
I'm gonna say the biggest bungler. It shouldn't be that hard because we always have criticism because we're bitter bitches. Now I'm like.
Well, did you say Rataro because he was too cocky in his plans?
Yeah, that's what I believe. I originally, when we talked about it, I feel like Rataro bungled the whole thing.
Because the mutants really had nothing to do with. I mean, they were just side characters. No. They helped.
I think I'm gonna say Rataro is the biggest bungler because of his cockiness. Because he thought that he was basically invincible.
Yep.
And when you think that you're so amazing and there's no chance, that's when chance,
chance comes and gets you.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that. But I would encourage any of our listeners to definitely tell us parameters for bungling. Tell us who you think the bunglers are. Go back to previous episodes and see who you think the biggest bungler is. And if it's Ryan, say it's fine.
Oh my god, yes!
But if it's me, you cannot blame me.
You cannot bungle the bungler.
We've bungled. I've listened to a previous podcast and realized that we said something wrong, or we didn't say the right name, or we did something out of sequence. Or
in our head, it sounds good when we're doing it.
So we're bungling still. We're bunglers. We're bunglers.
You're forever gonna hear mistakes that you made, and then you're like, oh, I know that wasn't right, but at the time it sounded so beautiful.
Oh my god, we should have them vote on, if anybody wants to, on the episode itself. Did we bungle it?
And matter of fact, if anyone wants to go back, like David said, and give us previous bunglers, we will read it in future episodes of the show. Any comments that you want to leave for us on YouTube, Instagram, we will read on the show. Tell us who you think is a bungler. Do you like the bungler game? Are we the bunglers like David said? And are we...
I've known to bungle a lot, you know, but nobody's
Well, I gotta tell you, the only trivia for this episode, David, was that it was a two-parter and that it did have a recap, unlike other episodes in the series, and that there was a new mutant vehicle, the Mutank, which makes its debut, but is never seen again. And then, strangely, the final scene from the previous episode featuring Lionel, Panthro, and Snarf is featured in this episode, but the middle of it instead of the start. I noticed that. That's when Snarf says that something about he was thinking about going back or whatever, and that's when Panther said, you just want your money. So they did replay that scene.
They did, actually. I noticed that too. I just thought it was bad editing.
Yeah, or they needed to maybe fill some time. So, ThunderCats fans, that was our first two-parter. Thank you so much for joining us this month. As always, we will be back with new episodes of the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, new every Friday, and the last Friday of every month will be 2 double ThunderCats episodes. You could always reach David at Universal Appeal 2020, all one word, and the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, all one word as well. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.